Good morning and welcome to our Wednesday workout. I'm John, former 2:42 marathon runner and England Athletics running coach.
And I'm Dawn, former 2:56 marathon runner and England Athletics coach.
So in this video we're going to take you through what we're going to be doing for this workout,
how we're going to execute it,
and most importantly of all, why we're doing this training session and how you can use this training methodology to help improve your running.
So for those of you who've not come across this recently, I'm training for Chester Marathon on the 6th of October.
And I'm working towards the Abingdon Marathon on the 20th of October. So as you can see, it's a boiling hot day. So what we've done, we've driven a little way from where we're staying and we're going to be doing this session along the North Dorset Trailway. Those of you know parkrun, I think the Blandford Forum parkrun starts 50 yards in that direction under the bridge. So there are shaded parts as well as some exposed parts. We think it's the best for getting this session done today. So the session is 20 minutes jog warm-up, which we're on at the minute. We're then doing 15 minutes of tempo running. That's somewhere between 10k and half marathon pace for us. 5 minutes jog recovery, and 6 times 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and then 6 times 30 seconds on, 1 minute off. Programmed it into our watches, and it's 71 minutes in all.
Don't forget the 10-minute cool down.
So we're going to be running at multiple different paces within this session, and this is the point we wanted to make about something you can learn and something we've learned over the last few years about training sessions.
For many years we followed the periodisation method.
Yeah, the periodisation approach was popularised by the great New Zealand coach Arthur Lydiard, who coached many New Zealand runners to Olympic medals in the early 1960s. Now that said, basically in each 4-week block or mesocycle of a training plan, you would work on one specific skill. You'd have a base period, a strength period where you focus on hills, a lactate threshold period, then a sharpening period.
Although other coaches believed that you should work on all those areas and keep those skills topped up all of the time.
That's right. So in a 4-week mesocycle, you'd have a hill session, you'd have a lactate threshold session, you'd have some VO2 max work, you'd have some basic speed, you'd have some speed endurance. But each session will be distinctly aiming at just one of those particular running skills. But another training methodology, and one that's been around since the 1960s, but wasn't really popular when we started running in the late 1990s and early 2000s, is to incorporate some of those skills into the same workout. So we've had success using the first two methods we talked about. When I first started running, I went down to an athletics club and they had a schedule that over a 2 or 3 week cycle incorporated hills, tempo work, VO2 max work and lactate threshold work. So typically workouts might have been 15 times 400, aiming to get each 400 exactly the same, or 3 times 10-minute threshold, or 1 continuous 30-minute threshold.
Or 4 times 1 mile, or 8 times 1 kilometre.
And then for a period between 2003 and 2006, I followed a periodisation approach, working with a coach whose methodology mirrored that of Lydiard's in many degrees.
But for the past year, we've started to incorporate multi-pace sessions similar to the one that we're doing today.
So I changed a training approach that has brought us relatively good success in the past. Well, there were 2 reasons. Firstly, as we get older, we find our bodies can't tolerate as many workouts during a week as they could when we were younger. So by incorporating elements of different skills in the same training session, we're ensuring that we don't miss out on VO2 max work, for example, because we don't have the capacity for our bodies to fit it in over a 2 or 3 week training cycle.
So the second reason is the psychological aspect. So going at different paces during the session removes the relentless grind of rep after rep of the same pace.
Hopefully it should stop you hitting the buffers as well. So July the 31st, a little bit different to the last time we did a session on the North Dorset Trailway, this time last year, isn't it?
Yes.
So tempo pace, or the pace you should be able to run for an hour if feeling fresh. So I'd be expecting to run about 6:45 pace on this if it was cool and if I was fresh, neither of which applied. And I think Dawn will be looking for around 7:15 pace. So let's see what numbers we actually got in the heat and on slightly fatigued legs.
7:07 average for that tempo. About 10 seconds a mile slower than last time I did it. But it took me a while to get into pace. And also it's extremely hot.
Pace is a bit slower than I wanted, but as John said, it is hot.
5 minutes recovery, taken dead slow. We want to be able to complete this session to best effect. So 30 seconds to go, and then it is 6 times, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, up and down the shadiest part of this trail we can find.
So again, if it were cool and we were feeling fresh, Dawn will be looking around 6:45 pace for these. I'd be looking around 6:20 pace.
Shock to the system, but the idea is by doing the tempo bit first, there shouldn't be too much of a shock to the system. We should be up to a good pace.
I think we both found it was easier to hit nearer to target pace on the shorter reps than it had been on the 15-minute tempo.
Oh baby, here we go.
2 more of these to go.
Whose idea was this?
Well, Ben Parks, but whose idea was it to buy me the Ben Parks plan? And train for an autumn marathon in the summer.
But John, UK summers are normally raining.
We can take all weathers.
Possibly one of the reasons why we found it easier on the shorter reps is the body temperature didn't have time to rise, whereas on the tempo run, and we were running for 15 minutes, it got pretty hot.
And then finally on the 30-second reps, we're looking around 1 mile pace. So something under 6-minute miling for me and something around 6:15 for Dawn.
We made it in one piece back to the car. That was brutal, wasn't it?
So it's now the evening of the day of the multi-pace session. It's a little bit cooler now, still nice temperatures, but it was really hot during that session. So all in all for me, I was relatively pleased with the way it went, probably about 6.5 out of 10. That first tempo mile is what I've been doing for my marathon pace, so 7:25, then I got down to 6:53, so all in all, can't complain, particularly in that heat. Hit the 1 minute sections as I thought I would, and then up the pace on the 30-minute section, so all was good on the session for me.
For me, I was quite pleased. It was very warm, and I was expecting to run around 7:30, so I ran 7:45, yeah, a little bit slow, and the second tempo mile was 7:35. The 1 minute section I found quite hard, but the 30-second ones I found relatively okay because I have quite a sprint on me and I didn't really struggle with those at all.
So, how do you train? Do you train by periodization? Do you train by just mixing up the sessions but sticking to the one skill per session? Or do some of you use multi-pace sessions like we've done today? Let us know what your favourite type of way of putting together your training is in the comments below. So there we go, latest training session for the marathons wrapped up. Remember, Dawn's training for Chester, I'm training for Abingdon. If you want to continue following us on our marathon journey, please subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed the way we put this video together and some of the points we made, then please give us a like. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.